I have cracked the code. I have figured out the third path of Amphoreus. It is something that I've been thinking about since week 1 of Amphoreus that I've even mentioned here and there on stream. There's many different theories on what the third path could be, right? Some people say it's the Enigmata. Some people say it's, I think I've heard the finality being mentioned as well. Some people say it could be the destruction, but I say none of these are correct. I say the third path of Amphoreus is a different one. One that has been under our noses the entire time. And while many of you probably know what I'm talking about, I am now going to present to you 3 pieces of evidence that I have collected that technically have already been present in 3.0 and that I have only now fully pieced together that point to the true third path of Amphoreus. And by that, objection overruled. I'm going to YouTube for this because I noticed this only in the last quest, when we have the music box and Triby's mother talks about the history of Amphoreus. It's this story.
3 carved the heavens and the earth. 3 wove the threads of fate. 3 molded life with their hands. And 3 guided calamity's gate. They declared the world too unstirring, hence wished endless laughter upon the living.
This line right here, keep this line in mind. They declared the world too unstirring, hence wished endless laughter upon the living. This was Exhibit A, and Exhibit B shall follow right now. Let's go to where they should be. Yes, if you have spent any time exploring Amphoreus, trying to get chests at any point, then surely you will have met this little creature here. This is, I believe their name is pronounced Bartholos, whatever it is. When you explore the map and sometimes when you want to open a chest, this fucker appears and snatches it from you, and you have to use Ornyx's powers to get him back, and then you can either talk to them or you fight them. Basically, this is Amphoreus's trash can. Basically, this is the Penacony trash can's Amphoreus version. And it's obvious where I'm going with this, but hold on. We're gonna take our time with this. So, the Spirit Thief, a follower of Zagreus. Zagreus, who is spread all over Amphoreus in the form of the Spirit Thief, causing you endless grief when you want to explore, and also a puzzle that, even if you don't explore, you have to do it a couple times in the story, the Hand of Zagreus. So Zagreus, although they are not really mentioned in the story so far, at least as of 3.1, they are everywhere. They're even helping us explore the map, because the item that you can get that helps you locate chests is an item. It originally belonged to Nestia. These are a couple of Nestia's eyes that have been blessed by Zagreus to help you locate chests and whatnot. So Zagreus is fucking everywhere. Now, the third and most obvious sign, in my opinion, this right here is, I am not sure how to pronounce his name, Acmonides, however his name is pronounced. And this guy right here is interesting, because number one, this name, which I actually only, interestingly enough, was able to find in the German wiki. I haven't found this in any other language, but apparently this name right here is also, according to some sources, used as another name for Uranus, who, fun fact about that one, is the father, as I recall, of 12 Titans. And Acmonides, or however his name is pronounced, can be either another name for that specific... Is he a god? I think he's a god. Or I believe in some cases he was also referred to as Uranus' son. The only source I have is the German wiki, which is interesting. But this man right here has a little shop where you can buy these 3 little slips. I haven't fully figured out what their deal is. I think they may point you towards some like world quests or pieces of treasure. He is an informant. And when you buy his 3 slips, you get a certain achievement. The sound of a laden bag. Acmonides runs an honest business. His intel is always clearly priced, and he'd never scam a friend. Now, who do we know that is, number 1, an informant that sells information, among other things, has blue hair, and would never scam a friend. A person who always takes care of his friends. That is right. And not only that, you can actually talk to this guy because he seems to have found an interest in the Trailblazer, and you can actually just have a little chat with him. And you can talk to him about various things, about your endeavors of you know, your travels. Of course, you're going to give him the Amphoreus version of it because, you know, you can't actually tell them about what's beyond the sky and non-Amphoreus things. And one of the options that you can choose, I'm going to move to the side for a little bit, you can say, you remind me of someone familiar. And when you do that, you explain your relationship with a certain Mr. Cold Feet. And once you do, he says, maybe we are long-lost brothers that share a single parent. And the Trailblazer describes this Mr. Cold Feet as a follower of Zagreus. Mr. Cold Feet, for those who don't know, is another one of Sampo's 50 names. And Sampo, in this case, is, you know, likened to a follower of Zagreus. Now, pointing out the obvious elephant in the room. Zagreus, obviously, very similar to a certain Eon. Zagreus, a titan called the Trickery Titan, who is often depicted with two faces, a laughing and a crying face, similarly to another Eon who wishes endless laughter upon the world, upon the living. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Which Eon has, you know, many faces, is known as a force of chaos in the universe, is known to want to spread laughter among the world, whose follower is a certain blue-haired informant. That is right, the third path of Amphoreus is not the Enigmata, or the destruction, or the finality, or anyone else. The third, maybe even the hidden fourth path of Amphoreus has always been and is the Elation. It has been Aha all along. Their presence is all over Amphoreus, even hidden in Amphoreus' history itself, in the form of a certain Calamity Titan. I rest my case. At the end of this all, we will learn that, besides the Remembrance and the Erudition, the third path of Amphoreus is the Elation. This man will reveal himself to us as Sampo Kazgi in disguise. Can you imagine if any of this actually turns out to be even remotely true? That would be so funny. Like, obviously, this is a fucking crack theory, but can you imagine? I came up with this crack theory the moment I saw this guy. Day 2 of 3.0, I explored this world and I met this guy, and I got that achievement, and I saw that the Trailblazer themselves even compared this guy to Sampo, and I was like, hold on. And then I read up some more about Zagreus and learned that they tended to appear before people or grant people their power in unpredictable situations, you know, just like Aha does, that gives people their blessing on a whim. If the Elation has like any major role in this story, not necessarily the third path, but if the Elation has any major role in this story, I am going to laugh, number one, and also I am going to be very impressed with myself.